This is BCTV, Branford Community Television. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
All right, we'll call the Board of Selectmen's meeting for June 18th to order. Item 1, to consider and if appropriate, approve the meeting minutes from June 4th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, move second. Any errors, corrections, omissions? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item passes. Item 2, to consider and if appropriate, approve a request from Jennifer Aquino, Assistant Town Engineer, to waive the bid for permanent pavement patches on-call services and award the contract to William M. Layden Construction at the following prices: asphalt patches, square foot $7.24, asphalt curb, a linear foot $13.08, asphalt sidewalks, a square foot price of $6.25, and an asphalt aprons at a square foot price of $6.25. All right, Jen?
Hi, good afternoon. I have before you a request for the bid waiver, as Selectman Cosgrove just explained. Just some background on this. The town did go out to bid for permanent paving on-call services in June of 2019, which was for the fiscal year 2020, and that brought us through the fiscal year 24. And William Layden Construction was the low bid on that award. And continue that contract through the close of the bid. At the end of the bid, they requested to continue to do the paving patching for us with a 3% escalation. Last year I came before this board and was granted the bid waiver for that for the 25 fiscal year. This year they've once again expressed interest in continuing to be our on-call paving contractor, have again requested that 3% escalation for 26. And I've detailed kind of where the original bid price was last year's with the escalation on the letter that I attached to my request, and what that pricing would be this year. When we take a look at whether or not it is advantageous for the town to continue to honor the 3% and continue on this contract, we have available to us what's called the weekly asphalt monitor through the DOT. They actually track the price of asphalt every single week, as far back as we've ever needed to see it. So we did run kind of a table on that and see where that price was in 2019 when they actually set the bid rate for this, and where that price is today. And between 2019 and the current price, there's about an 18% increase in asphalt to current for this year. So it is likely that if we do go out to bid for this service this year, that we would see an incremental rate around 18% from what our 2019-2020 fiscal bid was. I did run that number and had sent it over to Selectman Dunbar, asked for that information, and it would kind of increase our bid rate on item 1 to $8.06, item 2 to $14.55, and items 3 and 4 to $6.95. So given that factor, given the fact that the paving contractor has successfully performed this work for us for over 5 years, they are also the water company and the gas company's paving contractor for their asphalt restoration. It makes sense for the town to approve the bid waiver, continue our contract with William Layden, and ends up with kind of a better end product for us moving forward.
Okay, thank you. Very thorough.
Jen, when would this bid end?
June 30th next year. Again, next year we would look at the same information and determine at that point if it makes sense to continue the bid.
That's all I have.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Move second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions, item carries. Thank you. Item 3, to consider if appropriate, approve a request from Jennifer Aquino, Assistant Town Engineer, to waive the bid for the paving of Ozone Road, Selden Ave, and Lower Ewego Avenue, and award the contract to William M. Layden Construction in the amount of $238,000 $216. Jen?
So this is sort of an extension of the cooperative paving patching that the town does with Layden and the utility companies. In this instance, I'm sure you're aware, the gas company has been in Branford probably the last 4 years doing their cast iron line replacement on many areas throughout town. They finally finished that work and are wrapping up their paving restoration. As part of that, we do walk every road that the gas company excavates to determine what the condition of that road is and if it makes sense for the town to do any paving in addition to what the gas company's contractor will be required to restore. Most of the roads were in fairly good condition where the patch was sufficient, just a trench patch. A couple of years ago, we did have a joint effort that was done on Anchorage Road. The gas company paid for half of it, we paid for half of it, and it was a brand-new road in the end. We also did that on McKinnell Court, I think in 24 or 25, 24. And that was also where the gas company paid for their portion of the road, actually more than their portion because we split it in half. Again, the same scenario is on these 3 roads. We identified Ozone Road, Selden Ave, and the lower portion of Uego south of Pine Orchard Road as roads that need to be completely replaced. Asphalt needs to be completely replaced. It's not in a condition where it makes sense for the gas company to do that trench line replacement of the asphalt because either side of that trench is pretty bad. So I approached William Layden Construction, who's the gas company's paving restoration contractor, asked if they'd be interested in once again doing a joint venture on the paving and allowing us to only pay our portion and the gas company to pay their portion and have the road completely paved at one time, or at one project, not at one time. But they were amicable with that arrangement again and have given us pricing for each of the roads. So while the bid waiver for the entirety of it is 200 and something thousand, they did break it down per road. So Ozone Road is $41,806, Selden is $108,169, and Lower Uego is $88,241. If we were to not enter into this agreement with Layden, the result would be the gas company would come through and they would do their standard trench line patch, and then the town would have 2 options. We come through and pave the road like it needs to by removing the entirety of the pavement, including what the gas company had already just placed, or we have to saw cut on either side of that trench, and we would result in new paving and on the whole road, but it would be 3 strips of pavement plus the crossings that went through. So it doesn't make sense to do it that way. If we did the first option where we were just repaving the whole road, the town actually ends up paying more money because in this scenario, we are not paying for that part that the gas company is paying for. So given that information, I think it makes sense to move forward and approve the bid waiver and have Layden continue to kind of do this with us in cooperation with the gas company.
Does this change, I'm making an assumption, correct me, but this money will come out of the money that we've already planned for paving?
Yes.
Does this change any of the plan, or were these roads already on the plan for this year?
They were already on the plan. Yeah, and actually the roads in that area have already been completed by Tilcon, and these are the last 3 in that section that are waiting to be paved.
Yeah, they just did what, Hotchkiss Grove recently?
Hotchkiss Grove, Upper Uego, Pasadena, Spring Rock.
That's all I
Does
have.
your department then, when it's completed, go out and survey it or check it out and see that it's exactly what we're contracting for?
Yes, in this instance, engineering would go out there and inspect it both during the paving operation and after to be sure that the paving was done per our requirements.
I'll move it.
Second.
Move second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Thanks. All right, item 4, to consider and if appropriate approve a 5-year shellfish lease agreement between the town of Branford and Charles Vines DBA Charles Island Oyster Farm LLC for the bed of 506, consisting of 32.4 acres. I believe this was the lease agreement that was before us last. I know we did reach out. I don't know if the member of the chairman was not able to make it. I don't know if you had an opportunity, Selectman Dunbar, to contact
I did.
Get any information.
Unfortunately, and I'm not looking to hold this up forever, I did get some information that possibly at one point in time, the RTM assisted in setting the price per acre. That can be looked at. I was unaware of that. This doesn't go to the RTM, so they can't, I guess, evaluate it when it gets there. I don't think this is covered, from what I hear, under the encumbrance part of the ordinance that we have, but I'm not positive on that either. Just a little bit of information I got. There is a large expense I did find that that the person partaking in this puts out in a lot of risk. I mean, there's a good chance of making some decent money out of it, but if it fails or we get a bad storm, they lose everything. My main concern was the town getting enough for the bed, seeing this price supposedly was set a long time ago. And I guess at this point, we'll just have to wait for the RTM to review it at some point in time and make a decision as who's going to set the price or how they set it if they haven't already. And that's still up with questions, so you can move it either way.
All right. I mean, so are you comfortable moving
I'm
with
comfortable with the
this one?
information I have, though I do think it needs to be looked
Yeah,
at.
you want, your issue is more, should we take a opportunity
Is
to
the town
reset
getting the value for what we have, that's all.
The per acre price,
Yep.
and what is the go-up market rate? Okay.
I'll move it.
You move it? All right.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention, items carries. Thank you. Item 5, to consider if appropriate, approve the Fourth Amendment to lease agreement between the Town of Branford and J&J Blasting for additional 3-year lease extension, Parcel B. This is up at the Stony Creek Quarry. The blasting company has for a number of years leasing a parcel there. This revenue goes into our open space fund. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I'll second so I can discuss.
Move second. Go ahead. Any discussion?
The only issue I have with this one, in all honesty, another one, is entering into a 3-year lease. And I know we have every right to do it, but at this stage of the possible changeover of administrations in the town and what their view may be with the quarry and so forth, because obviously there's not everyone that's as happy as some with the amount of traffic that goes in and out of there continually. Ever since they started crushing stone, it's a lot worse. One of these is going to add some more activity, but there's already activity from that place. So I realize that, for the record, my voting no tonight has nothing to do with stopping this from going forward, because it's going to the RTM afterwards anyway. But that was just a concern I have, and when the RTM deliberates, I hope they at least will look at that in case there is some other plans for use or concern for what some of the citizens have complained about from time to time to all of us. That's all I have.
Okay. It's been moved second. Go ahead. Would like to say, yes, sure.
Tracy Everson, RTM District 5. I share Selectman Dunbar's concern, if you'll forgive the pun, are we getting the most bang for our buck, right? I mean, this is $600 a month for property that the town does get income from. That's not a lot of money. I don't know when the last time these were reviewed, and if this is, you feel confident that this is what the going rate would be for leasing however much property is there. And there is concern, I know, from residents in the area about the amount of truck traffic that goes in and out, and also the safety aspect. God forbid there would be some kind of a issue at the quarry. Thank God that there hasn't been. But for all these leases, I also think that multi-year leases, usually we're talking about the blasting one first, right? But the Zambelli is usually a year. These have been year leases, and now they're multi-year leases. So does that give the town the ability to come back, or is this a set price for the term of the lease?
So I believe they were multi-year leases, other than Zambelli's going to be, which is the fireworks one, that would be a one-year.
That's one.
One-year extension from their current lease. This is for the term. The price is for the term, which, again, as you pointed out, I believe this is a 3-year for this particular one before us. And then for the parcel A would be a 1-year, and then I believe it was a 3-year for parcel C. I will say, in terms of, the office that gets probably many of those calls when there's issues that, the neighbors may have, I will say it's been a number of years since we've had any real issues in terms of our complaints regarding the truck traffic. I do recall maybe a couple of years ago, there was where in particular it was on a Sunday, they felt, a truck was going in and out, which, we addressed with the leaseholder at the time. But again, as far as the activity that's occurring, I know every time, many years ago, there was a number of issues that we've heard from a number of residents, but that's really quieted down the last few years. In terms of this is just kind of vacant land that's being utilized by these leaseholders. We're not providing any there's no building, there's no really other utilities that we're providing to them. It's just the vacant land. And I think, given the nature of the activity that occurs at a quarry, these are the types of, they align with that activity between the blaster and the other, the ones we'll be dealing with in the next agenda items. In terms of individually, they're not significant dollars, in comparison to the overall budget. But as I said, the dollars do go into an open space fund. They have been accumulating over years, and I think, when you start to see how we utilize those dollars, or how we do, they fund the open space, Parks and Open Space Commission. Those dollars also used to acquire open space, which when we acquire open space, the per acre price typically isn't as high as what you would may think of for a development piece per acre price. So I think the residents of Branford do benefit from this. That's why I'm kind of supportive. And again, as noted, tonight we'll also be entertaining a lease of a new parcel C, that which we had recently laid out. Historically, it was the two parcel A and B that we would lease. We're adding C to this. And in large part, too, that was, to really kind of, we want to control what activity is happening up there and who is utilizing it. So this is, each leaseholder is kind of responsible to maintain their property, and they're the ones who are in control of it. So to have this, when we realized that there was this other parcel here that kind of laid out and fit and can serve a use, that's why we laid it out and brought it before the board.
Right.
I think if a future administration wants to change course, I think they'll still have that ability. Maybe not day one when they come in, but
Second
again,
term.
maybe they have to prove themselves first before they go making this.
Not to contradict the first selectman about noise, I'm glad they're not calling you anymore. However, if you want me to put you on speed dial, considering the fact that they do go by my house all the time, so I can kind of feel with my neighbors when they say there's a lot of activity. There's going to be a lot more in a month, but when they pave. But yeah, the noise, the trucks have picked up a lot since they started crushing stone up there. because block, comes out in the trailer.
Yeah.
They're not getting that out, but the stone is very popular, and people like it, and the neighbors have given concern about it, and I'm glad you're not getting the calls anymore.
Yeah, well, thank you.
It's fair enough.
I guess my concern was really from a business perspective.
Yeah, no, I know.
And if inflation is at 3%, I mean, should they have some kind of escalation in these? I just want to make sure the town is getting the financial benefit that it could from the quarry. So, thank you.
All right. So it's been moved second. Any further discussion? And these will go to the RTM, as you noted. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain?
Yeah.
Okay, abstain. One abstention. Interesting. Item 6, to consider if appropriate approve in a second amendment to lease agreement between the town of Branford and Zambelli Fireworks for an additional 1-year lease extension, parcel A.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Move second.
Moving along.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain to this one, too. Yep.
One abstention.
Yep.
Item 7, to consider and if appropriate approve a lease agreement between the town of Branford and Fisher Excavating to lease a portion of property located at Stony Creek Quarry for the storage of staging of construction materials and equipment. This was noted as parcel C.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Move second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Oh, abstention. One abstention. Thank you. I don't believe we have any correspondence. Item 9, any other business? Peter?
Two things. One, listening on the shellfish stuff, I can't remember those leases coming to us on the RTM. If they did, we probably just deferred to the Shellfish Commission on what a fair price was. The other ones I certainly do remember. Second of all, I just wanted to make a public announcement since we're on wide world of television here, that Rules and Ordinance Committee of the Representative Town Meeting will be having a special meeting on September 9th regarding amendments to our current blight ordinance regarding vegetation and landscaping. So anyone who's interested in that should try to attend that special meeting on September 9th. It'll be in this building at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, any other business?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
All right.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.